I want to welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's post-match pint, the only post-match post-match fallout show. Oh, fucking hell, I fucked that right up. That's the first time I think I've ever done that.
I botched it last time when you wasn't on, so
I've been doing it for many moons, mate. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's post-match pint, the only West Ham United post-match fallout show on the internet. We've just come back. Well, I haven't just come back. I came back last night, very late last night, by the way, from Villa Park. Where I was a very happy hammer leaving there, to be quite honest with you. I thought we was very unfortunate not to leave Villa Park with 3 points. Daniel.
Yeah, completely agree. It was, as the cliche says, a game of two halves, and the second half was unbelievable. You know, really impressed. And yeah, on the balance of things, I thought we were the better team overall, and the stats back it up. We had the better chances. We had more touches in their box. We were just, I don't know what he said to him at half time. And that's what we used to say about Lopetegui. I don't know what he said to him at half time, but it's come out crap. But this is the opposite. It came out like another team.
I think it was, obviously I went there to watch it. I haven't seen any of the stats. I haven't even seen the replays, you know. I went there. I wasn't confident, to be quite honest with you. I still thought we was, you know, coming off the back of that Crystal Palace result, I didn't think we'd have enough, to be honest with you. They're a good side, Villa. They have had a little bit of a Champions League hangover every time they've played, and they still haven't won since they've come back from a Champions League game. But I did watch them in midweek, and they was pretty poor against Monaco, to be quite honest with you. And I thought to myself, you know what? If we can play, a couple of players can start playing, we could get something out of this. I didn't think we'd win. But I'm telling you what, Dan, first sort of 10 minutes, I was screaming. I was screaming at the players. I thought the goal was too easy. But when you look at, you know, the circumstances, the way he done Soufal's playing centre-back, it's not really his fault. He's not really a centre-back, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I thought the goal came too easy. But apart from the first 15 minutes, I thought we had a good foothold of the game. First half, we didn't do much. I'm going to say that for nothing. We didn't do much. We didn't create much. The second half, I thought it was a performance to really like be proud of, going away to Villa Park.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the first half, it's like we just continued and where we left off with the Palace game. That's what it felt like. And I thought, oh God, here we go. Like we're going to be starved until we get our players back. And the fact that he was able to get that second half performance out of that lot of players, it says a lot, because honestly, we are one of the slowest teams in the league, probably the oldest team in the league, and you can see it. Soufal, he is very slow, and defensively he is suspect. And some people were saying that maybe Wan-Bissaka should have gone there in that position because, you know, he's better defensively, he is quicker, but we would have lost a lot from Wan-Bissaka and his ability to go up and down the, you know. And Soufal wouldn't give you that. So I understand why he's done it. And look, you got to give full credit. We've got one centre-back playing with two full-backs either side of them that are in their 30s.
Yeah.
It's incredible. You know, we've had four full-backs on the pitch and we've able to just concede one goal. And it was a crap goal to concede. And like I said, I think Soufal should do better there. But he's playing out of position. And it just shows how depleted we are. So yeah, the fact, and that's what I said to Jace. I said, keep it 1-0, just keep it 1-0 going into half time, and then you never know.
Yeah, I mean, when we went half time, I wasn't, you know, I went into the concourse. I wasn't too confident coming out. I thought, you know, I'll be honest with you, I thought it was rubbish what I'd seen. You know what I mean? We hadn't conceded many more chances, but we hadn't created any either. And I was just thinking, we're just primed now to keep on defending until we concede that second goal, and the game's just going to fizzle out. But you know, I wasn't too impressed. I wasn't too impressed with what I saw in the first half. Second half, I thought we was a much better team. We come out with, and you know what it was, Dan? It was energies. It was energy levels from players. You know, there was players fighting tooth and nail for every ball. I'm going to give a few honourable mentions. Yeah, I thought Areola was very good for what he had to deal with. I thought he dealt with everything perfectly. Apart from the goal, of course, there's not much you can do about the goal. I thought Kilman was very good, considering he was sort of trying to cover the two centre halves. I thought Alvarez was back to his best. And I thought Lucas Paquetá had a marvellous game. But the standout player for me was Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I don't know how Paquetá got that man in the match. Aaron Wan-Bissaka was up and down that line. He was causing all sorts of trouble. He was back defending. He was, and look, they're no slouches. They're no slouches, Aston Villa, but by a long shot. They've got some good, they've got some good players. They've got some good passages of play. We just stopped them playing. That midfield really got stuck in, and that's always the area that I think that we're going to lose out is the midfield. They've got a decent midfield, Aston Villa, and we've got a notoriously slow midfield. I thought it was perfect second half. I thought it was absolutely perfect. Apart from that second goal not coming, best performance I've seen all season.
And that just shows our need for a striker. The fact that we created so much.
If we had a striker yesterday, we'd have won that game. I've got no doubt about it. I've said it many, many times. I was on the way back from Villa, and I heard a guy talking about a Villa fan. He said he reckoned they just edged it. A Villa fan. He said, "Oh, it's poor performance, but I think we just edged it, but we couldn't get it over the line." And I'm thinking, what the fuck game was you watching? Because I mean. To think you've just edged that game, you're fucking deluded, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, they held on for dear life.
2 check chance. So we had the Emerson goal, the offside goal at the end, which was, rightly ruled out.
He had that one where he's back to goal, he turns, shoots, goes wide. Ings had that one just go wide. Right.
I mean, the chance we had yesterday was, and I reiterate, I think if we'd have had a Somerville running the line, I think we'd have had a Bowen in there. I think we'd have had a Fulkrug in there. I think we would have won the game.
Yeah,
I think we'd have won the game.
I mean, yes, stat-wise, we had the possession overall. We had the I know some people don't like XG, the expected goals, but we dominated in that. So we had 39 touches in their box. It was clearly just more than them, and it's just like we haven't seen that. We haven't seen that level. Been seeing that level of creativity. And the fact that we are seeing that level of creativity with this squad that we've got, it's a massive positive. I thought the ref. I don't want to, make excuses. The ref. I thought the ref was terrible, absolutely terrible yesterday.
I'll be honest with you, Dan. We were speaking about the ref on the way back. I think the ref was bad for both teams. I don't think he couldn't get a foothold of the game. Don't think he knows the rules. There was a point. And obviously, there's going to be like massive sort of. They've been highlighted again, the referees, because of the Lewis Skelly incident. The lack of intervention in VAR in overturning a red card because they didn't want to do this and they didn't want to do that. And it's really brought like another load of pressure. I mean, the Premier League need to do something about these referees. They really do need to do something about these referees because I watched the Lewis Skelly thing. I'm no Arsenal fan, but that was a disgrace. That was a disgrace of a decision. How and that hasn't been overturned on the pitch, I don't know. To be honest, I'm going to be totally honest now. Alvarez should have had a second yellow card.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have had the first yellow card. And you know why? Because fucking Mings handballed it and he didn't get booked.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is exactly it. Mings is injured. He catches the ball. He gets nothing, yeah? Catching the ball, you could, by the letter of the law, could be a red card.
Yeah.
As the ball's in play, because what happens? He catches the ball. If he don't catch the ball when he can't catch him, he's injured.
Yeah, I think it was Paqueta that would have gone through. Paqueta would have run past him and gone onto the ball.
And like he's injured, so he's caught the ball. There was questions about whether Kuda should have had a card for the challenge, but I thought it was just from what I saw, as I said, I haven't seen the highlights. It was just they both jumped up together and he just landed on his foot or something. But that's what I saw. But yeah, he catches the ball. He doesn't get a yellow card, and then Alvarez gets fouled and he gets a yellow card for scooping the ball back. Then should have had a second yellow, which he didn't get a yellow for. There was one point where there was a clash of heads. And he made Kilman go off, but not the other player. I mean, the referee totally lost the plot yesterday.
Yeah. How Dine got to stay on? Look at Dine or whatever the fuck he calls himself.
We had the VAR. There was a couple of VAR calls yesterday. I haven't seen him back, as I say. I haven't seen the Digne incident, but there was a couple of people saying that he's given a dig. So
yeah, he has.
I haven't seen it.
This is exactly how I said. Look, he gives him an elbow. He does that right now. He doesn't make he makes contact. Doesn't make full contact. So it's a soft dig, but he's elbowed him. It's violent conduct. They've not give it as anything because they're saying it's soft. But it doesn't matter if you're doing something, whether it's soft or not. The Kudus incident at Spurs, yeah, on the fuck was it Van der Ven or the other one? No, it was Sarr. He barely touches Sarr, right? Yeah. But it's violent conduct. It doesn't matter if I headbutt you softly or I punch you softly. It's the action, not the force. And that's what they've just because he's you can't. He's not like doing it to try and where you're shielding, you're jostling, trying for position, this, that, and the other. He's literally drew his elbow and done that. That no one can tell me that that's just normal.
But when you see what VAR have intervened for in the past, the Balbuena one. Do you remember Balbuena, Chelsea?
Yeah.
When he kicks the ball and his foot comes down after he's kicked the ball and it goes down the back of a player's leg and it gives him a red card for it. Absolutely ridiculous.
Pull him away, Souček.
When he's trying to raise his arm over the top of the player to move his body and he catches the top of his head, like brushes it. That's not one of them. That's like basically like that. And he gives him a red card for it. Like it's just the lack of consistency. It's honestly, and like they need to start deciding what they want to do with VAR, because do they want them to intervene or do they not want them to intervene? Because there's sometimes when they're just getting too involved. I was watching a Soccer Saturday the other day where they was taking 2-3 minutes to decide whether someone was offside, and Paul Merson said you could see he was offside from the naked eye.
Yeah.
And then incidents like the Lewis Skelly one, which is nothing to do with us, I know, but and then other incidents where they're looking at things for 5-6 minutes. And then other incidents where, it's a blatant red card, but they don't want to overturn the referee's decision. I don't understand it. I don't understand when and what. This is my personal opinion, right? I think there should start be a challenging system where they don't look at it until you challenge it. So they're not looking at everything all the time, because I'm sure it can get a little bit, tedious. Looking at everything all the time. Every incident. I mean, there's incidents going on all over the pitch on a football pitch, all the time, right? So that if they're constantly having to look at it and review it and all that, they might be a little bit overwhelmed with that sort of thing. Just have them now, monitoring it, and wait till there's a challenge.
The problem is when they are looking at it and coming to the incorrect decision. That's the problem. And that's happening far too often.
This is a big issue, whether they're coming to it. But why are they? It's the reason why are they coming to that incorrect decision? Is it because they don't want to embarrass the referee? A lot of people have suggested it is.
Well, Mike Dean has said that himself, that it was his mate and he didn't want to, he had a bad game, so he didn't want to, embarrass him, make it worse. So he didn't.
It's not good enough. It's not good enough. You referee football games. Look, I'm not going to say every referee's going to. The referees are going to have bad games. Simple as that. But this is meant to be there to sort of assist them, but they're sort of like they're seeing it as, I don't know what the word is, like a diss that they're going to come back and overturn them, like that's going to embarrass them. Football goes at 100 miles an hour.
It's there to help them. Yeah,
it's there to assist them, right? So. What you see from one side and what you see from another side can be two completely different things. Even like with replays, you see that. It may look different from different angles, yeah? So you can never tell what sort of angle. I mean, there was one where, one incident where I think it was Kudus it was Kudus. The geezer picked him up and chucked him on the floor right in front of the linesman, and the linesman didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
And he's moaning to him, like, why aren't you doing it? And I'm thinking to myself, have these linesmen been told not to interfere? Because that's what VAR's for. I don't know how it goes. Again, it's just a mess. Every season there's changes. It's a fucking mess. There needs to be clear and obvious halfways to what VAR is getting involved in. And as I said, I think it should be a challenge system. So they're not overworked, they're not overwhelmed, they're not trying to embarrass it. But there was a challenge button, and the referee goes, right, well, say for instance, Graham Potter's challenged this. We're going to have a look at it in the VAR studio. I think that's the only way to do it, because if you don't, they're just constantly having to look at shit. They're getting things wrong. They don't want to embarrass people. The referees are fucking missing things. I think the referee becomes too reliant on it. The linesmen are not doing their jobs. What's the fucking point in them? You might as well bring in them automatic linesmen right now, because that's the fucking, that's the levels of what they're doing. They're fucking not even automatic linesmen, and they're still shit. So
yeah.
But
referees aside, like I said, a lot of positives to take. Potter's come into a side leaking goals for fun, massive major injuries to deal with, and having to try and get them to play a completely new way. And in a few games we're starting to see it. And this is the thing, in 6 months we didn't see any progress under Lopetegui.
Yeah.
We saw progress game 1, first half against Villa in the FA Cup. Now it's not been perfect, as we've seen, but I think it was a positive. And I've seen some West Ham fans say we were lucky. We didn't, we weren't 3-4 goals down. Like, they don't realise that you look at a game on 90 minutes. On the balance of the game, you can say Villa were lucky because we had more chances.
But
so Villa were the lucky ones, not West Ham.
People will always look at the things that they want to look at to suit their agenda. Yeah. It's these comments amaze me, and I see them all the time. So when we got who did we? I think we beat Fulham, and someone said, "Well, if Fulham had taken all their chances and you hadn't taken yours, you'd have lost." I'm like, well, that's obvious.
Exactly.
Statement I've ever heard of my like. It didn't happen. I really don't understand them sort of statements. I don't understand where them people are coming from. If Fulham had taken their chances, you'd have lost. Of course you'd lose. Obviously. But you didn't. You know what I mean? You've got to take the chances.
And if we took all of our chances, then we would have scored more goals.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I don't get them sort of statements. I don't get it. It doesn't. It's like when people were saying to me, this time next week we'll be in the Bahamas. Yeah, but we're not yet. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's get to next week and we'll see where we are. Yeah, I just don't get them statements like.
People don't realize every single team has chances, right? Throughout 90 minutes, they're going to have chances that they miss. It happens. You don't sit there and look at, if this team finished their chances. It's the game. The object of the game is to put the ball in the back of the net. So I don't see why people always want to see the worst in the team there. Like I said, we're not the finished article. We're not perfect. We're playing with a makeshift bloody back 3. And we've done really bloody well. We can come away from that game and say, wow, we were unlucky not to win that. That's massive. So, and the fact of the big positive for me, seeing Ollie Scholes come on again. And
he was brilliant. He
just looks like he's been playing in the Premier League for years. He looks so comfortable.
He was
so confident. Tackles, the passes. He's got to start to be, getting in there more. Someone said he should be in over Creswell. I think the reason why he wasn't in over Creswell is more experience playing as a centre back. So that's why he was in that back 3.
It would be fair to play him centre back, but he was excellent. He was excellent. There was one time when he got the ball and he put this ball through to Paquetá from early, and I haven't seen this for a long time. And the defender just got a toe to it. If he didn't do that, he's through on goal. But the vision from a young boy like that to see that pass is unreal. Is unreal. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Ollie Scholes. Ollie Scholes should be playing in the first team for me. But I thought Emerson had a fucking blinding game. So
yeah, he did. So it's hard.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, but
that's good. That's how long have we been waiting for that on left back? To where we can have 2 left backs where we can say can compete, and either one of them are good enough to start. And it's perfect because Emerson, he's getting older, and you've got the young Ollie Scholes. So you've got that understudy role where Ollie Styles is going to be the guy to take that position eventually from Emerson. But this is what we've always just wanted as West Ham fans, to see the young players coming through and given these opportunities. And, you know, you've got Potter. He's doing it. He's giving them opportunities. And, you know, I said on my reaction yesterday is the benefit of giving these young players minutes in the league is, even if Ollie Styles turns out not to be good enough to start for West Ham, which I think he will be, his value is increased. In all these appearances he's getting, if we have to sell him, we're going to get decent money because he's a Premier League player. Whereas all these other players that have maybe made the bench and we never bothered giving them minutes off the bench, we've got nothing for them. There's no value there. So you sell an Ollie Styles if he turns out to just not quite be it, to a team that maybe have just got promoted or a team in the Championship, you get pure profit. So on a long-term sustainability sense, it's ideal.
It makes sense. Yeah.
And we've got Orford, you've got Potts to come back, which is really excited to see him back. You know, Earthy. We've got some exciting youngsters and a manager that is about, you know, getting young players through. So
Stuart Lewis is Roberto Scarlos, right? But Trode says Skulls also bangs direct free kicks. Seen him score 2 in one game from a Premier League 2 from 25 yards.
Yeah,
he can.
We could do with that, because I tell you what, some of the free kicks we took yesterday were poor. I think Creswell's a bit rusty where he's not playing so much these days. So, but yeah, like I said, whether it's Paqueta himself, it was between him and Wan-Bissaka for me. I think Alvarez as well was in. I think those 3 players were in for a shout. But Paqueta, he just looks like he's playing with so much confidence.
Do you know what I noticed?
This dark cloud over his head gone.
You know what I noticed yesterday as well? They was really, I mean, again, Kuda's had a tough game. Yeah, I don't think he had his best game, but he was being crowded out. They'd obviously identified him as the danger. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
so they probably looked at it around and said, "Well, you know, they're not really got anyone else. Stick 3 men round him, and you know, just crowd him out." Which give Paquetá some real space to, you know, to do some damage. But I mean, these are rumours, right? And I don't want to fuel rumours because I don't know any different. I've heard that Bowen and Somerville may be back Chelsea.
So they had a late fitness test, didn't they? So they've been back on ground.
So, yeah. So anyway,
So
I've heard that's huge. That they could be back for Chelsea, and I think once we get that sort of forward line going, I'm looking forward to seeing what I don't want to see, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't want to see Mavropanos ever again, and I mean that with the greatest respect. Mavropanos is a fucking awful defender.
So would you rather keep Soufal and would you rather stick with Soufal and Creswell with Kilman?
I'd rather get another centre half in the window.
Well, it's looking increasingly unlikely.
We've got until Chelsea to do it, but we don't.
I want to see Casey try and, you know, get a chance.
I'd rather, right, and this is because of the truth, I'd rather recall Zuma and Ogud.
Well, apparently we can't recall Gued, so
Zuma. Just recall him.
Zuma with 1 knee over Mavropanos. That's how bad it is.
I will put you in over Mavropanos. Honestly, I'm not joking, mate. He's bad. He's fucking awful. Like one of the worst I've ever seen. And
do you know what his problem is? He's so error prone. Like there's a half decent centre back in there, but he just hasn't got it up here. And this is why Kilman. People have been on Kilman's case this season, and there is instances where he's deserved it. But a lot of the time, he's playing with Mavropanos, who just is in no man's land and just leaves it, gives him no support whatsoever. Yeah. And this is Kilman's had to bear the brunt of it. And we've seen yesterday, Kilman's not a bad defender. He's just been made to look bad with who he's been with. And
I think we're going to struggle with what Chelsea have got if we've got Soufal and Cresswell now. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Definitely, and that's the thing. We're going to have to try and see what we can get in over the line. Obviously, Villa have got in Disasi. I was saying to you before, we were linked with. Who's not great. He wouldn't have been able to play against Chelsea anyway because he would have been loan tied. But it just shows you that these are like other clubs are making moves. They're getting stuff done. We're just getting rid of Tim Steidten, and we're not being vindicated with look.
I'm hearing he's gone.
Yeah, so, well, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone, and we're not really showing that. Oh, look, he was the problem. Look at all this business we're doing now. Steidten's gone. It's been at snail's pace. What's the excuse? And it is. I get it. We don't want to just sign players for the sake of signing, but there's no excuse not to get these loan deals in. You've got other clubs getting loans in. Why can't we? And that's the big worry for me is that
I think Caelan Casey ago.
That's what I'm saying. I just think over Mavropanos, I think the suspension's probably done him good, Mavropanos, as well, because his confidence would have been shot that week out. He didn't have to be dropped. So it is a good opportunity to bring in Casey because he's been out for a week. And, maybe you put in Creswell, Kilman, Casey, 3. Because I'm liking this back 3. I think the system that he's going with is really good. And it's working well, and it's doing wonders for Wan-Bissaka. It's really fitting. I mean, Man United fans, it just shows you what a toxic bloody cesspit Man United is, that they make all these players look crap. Like, they was trying to tell me how all these Man United fans, how rubbish he is, how crap he is going forward. Like, you know what I mean? He's a one-trick pony, and it's like we're seeing how wrong they are at West Ham. It's just toxic over there.
Yeah, listen. You at the end of the day, it's you got to fit them into a team. You can be the best player in the world. You can't. And people say this. One man team. Listen, if it was a one man team, you can't go out and win games on your own. You've got to be part of a team. Like Man United are not going to sign fucking Haaland and be able to win every fucking game. You've got to have a team around them. Regardless, it's a team game.
Yeah.
So. If you ain't got the right players around you, they struggled yesterday again, but this is the type of thing that affects clubs. They win a game, and what they're talking about afterwards, Marcus Rashford. You're not scoring goals. Why ain't Marcus Rashford playing?
Yeah.
Push over a month.
Yeah. The reports that we're still pushing or we're potentially leading away.
Listen. There's a lot of shit with Marcus Rashford. If Marcus Rashford wants to play football, come and play football, son. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to play football, this is going to be a place where you can play football. Get away from all of the bollocks. Get away from all of the fucking hype and all of that. That's what happened to Lingard. He's turning around and telling the press that he's training twice a day, and then Ruben Amorim's going in there and saying, I'll put the goalkeeper coaching over him. That's how much effort he puts in.
Yeah, and that's what concerns me.
It's two very contradictory, But
who are you more likely to believe? I'm more likely to believe Amorim, because if he is training twice a day and he's doing well, why wouldn't he put him in if he's an asset? Whereas obviously Rashford,
right? And I want to say this with the greatest of respect to everyone. Rashford has not got a lot of options, so West Ham may be an option. Come the transfer window, I heard them talking yesterday. There ain't a queue forming round outside for him. I think he's sort of played his cards. I think he's played his hand too early.
I think that deal works wonders for Man United as well, because if they loan Rashford to us, and they're going to have to swallow some of the wages, but then they get to see him get minutes and increase his value back up to the point that if he does well at West Ham,
you get to the point where he's playing again, in form again, and he's worth something. At the moment, he ain't worth fuck all to no one, because especially when you turn around and go, I will fucking put my goalkeeper coaching over him. It's not really going to fucking. It's not really a great
sales done. Good. Imagine you go to Man United and you're like, right, we want to sign Rashford like on loan, and you spend. They're like, no, you got to buy him. It's like, well, why are we going to spend money on a geezer that your manager said isn't as good as his goalkeeper coach? He'd rather play his goal. It's really hurt their hand there. He's too honest for his own good. But
Rashford loves celebs and clubs. Come to London. So does Jesse Lingard, and he done well here. You know, it may be one of them things where it could be, you know, good for all things concerned. The only thing about it is we're as much as they wouldn't want to admit it, we're a fucking rival to them.
Yeah, we are. Mid-table rival
to where they are in the table.
But I think, like, if I'm Man United, I'm more interested in getting Rashford's value.
I've got to say this as well, right? Why get Rashford? He would be in every London nightclub, as that's all he cares about, apparently. And I think that statement's apparently. Where's the proof? You know what I mean? Like, don't read all you know. There's differences in where, you know, what's reported and why it's reported. You know, we've seen it over the years. Why is it being reported like that? You know, why is Rashford telling us he's training twice, but Amarin's saying he fucking can't train to save his life? People will push their agenda. You know, if Marcus Rashford is a very, very polarized figure, the same as Jesse Lingard was a very polarized figure. People didn't want to believe him. You know, there's a footballer in there, you know, but he's going to fucking nightclubs. He's doing this and doing that. Jesse Lingard come to London and people go, fucking hell, this is going to be terrible. So all he cares about is TikToks and dancing, which was true in the end. But he come in and fucking lit the place alight. Sometimes they just need to get back to the football. You know what I mean? Like, if he likes the nightclubs and all that, I don't give a shit. And I've always said this: I don't give a shit if he wants to go to a nightclub, as long as he comes and plays on a fucking Saturday and plays well. Who gives a fuck?
Look, you go back, bloody Andy Carroll, Martin Noble. You know,
mate, you listen to even some of the managers. Yeah. And I've heard fucking people, pros saying, I remember when we was in a terrible, terrible run of form under Sam Allardyce. Sam Allardyce said he wanted to take the team training to Dubai. They never took a fucking football with them. They spent the night, the whole fucking week night clubbing and fucking doing this and doing that. Come back and won like 7 on the spin or something.
Yeah. It's all about what you do on
games.
But yeah, and the thing is, Graham Potter seems like, you know, a good manager, a sort of guy that can, you know, put the arm around Rashford and, you know, maybe get his head in the right space. And I think if we had Rashford and you have Rashford on the left and he puts Somerville back on the right because he seems to play so well there against I don't know. You would play him up front?
I would.
He's a left winger.
He likes left wing, yeah, but you know, you could do that thing where they sort of interject him. But listen, we're talking about a geezer probably isn't going to be here. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Like, you know, look, whatever happens, I'm going to feel a little bit more comfortable in terms of signing once we get Bowen and Somerville back. But it would be nice to get some additions for sure. But overall, I'm very optimistic about the future of West Ham under Potter. When you think of what he's been able to do in a little time, when he's still, you know, missing 2 of our most key players, still no striker apart from Ings, who's obviously Ings, and he hasn't got his players in. He ain't been given a window in signings. So what can he do with time, pre-season, signings, our best players fit? You know, what can he achieve? And that's the exciting part.
We're playing football, and someone made a very good point. It's this: his first full week that he's got to train a team in preparation for a club for a team, because the last time when he took over, he had a couple of days before Villa, and then we had 2 games in a week, I believe.
Three games in a week.
3 games, yeah. So it's his first full week. The effort levels were unreal. I think the fitness levels were, you know, 20-30% above what we'd seen before. It's all gone to plan, in my opinion. You know, and I see this fucking ginger prick West Ham Central fucking highlighting things about be careful what you wish for and all that sort of thing. And it is going very well at Everton for David Moyes. But listen, if we didn't get in, I didn't want Lopetegui, you know, I didn't want Lopetegui, but I didn't want David Moyes anymore. And if we hadn't got Lopetegui, we wouldn't have been in this position now with Potter. So, I won't be careful what I wish for. Maybe you should wish to get out your fucking bedroom a little bit more, you twat. But there we go.
I did enjoy it, and that's the thing. I enjoyed that second half. I didn't enjoy it the first half, but it shows what we're capable of in the second half, and I enjoyed that. I was entertained.
I was jumping up and down with joy. That's the God's honest truth. I was more I was more animated than I've been for a long, long time because I could feel it. I could feel it. We was in the game. We was playing football, and we was close to winning. We had a real chance of winning the game. I was honestly, it was the most excited I've been for a long, long time.
Do you know what is very telling as well? I've seen a few interviews from different players. Alvarez was the latest one. They're all commenting about how clear the instructions are from Potter, how they're able to really understand what he's asking for them, and how much that they're looking forward to, really just getting it more and more and more, understand it more as they go on. But that it just shows you how vastly different that must have been under Lopetegui, and how just unclear his instructions were and what he wanted.
I can't see how anybody has ever had anything bad to say about Graham Potter. I really don't. From what he's done from his managerial career, the way he transformed the team in Norway or where the fuck it was, Sweden or wherever it was, right? Took them from the bottom to the top, right? He went into Swansea, I believe, and completely transformed the way they play. Went into Brighton and completely transformed the way they play. Because he couldn't do it at Chelsea, which, let's be honest, the fucking best have been at Chelsea and had to leave, right? The very best in the world, and had to leave. Because he couldn't do it in a short time frame there, all of a sudden, no, I'm not convinced about Potter. I'm not convinced about him. I think you're fucking mental not to be convinced about a man like that. He's thorough. He's clear. He's got great,
he's got a bloody social sciences degree. Do you know what I mean? Like
sciences degree. He's got a very, very good way of communicating with players. I don't know, like whoever's sitting there going, I'm not sure about Potter. You're a prick, in my opinion. So, because he didn't do it at, I see Crystal Palace fans saying it, the other day about Potter. I'm not convinced because he's Brighton. You know what I mean? So, that
makes the communication is such a massive part of it. It's huge. Being able to communicate and get your vision and your ideas across to the players so they can execute it, and it's huge. And obviously, Lopetegui was not able to do that.
Lopetegui, I used to see him in press conferences, and he couldn't understand the fucking questions that they was asking him, and they're basic English fucking questions. Like, and I know people find that amusing. But that reflects on the pitch. When you can't communicate clearly, there's differences in what, telling someone to do something with, and there's a word or so missing or replaced with something else. There's a very clear difference in that level of communications. You could do a lot with a word or two. You know what I mean? Like if it ain't spot on, or if he can't get the message across to someone to tell him what to say quick enough, it's detrimental. Every second counts in the Premier League.
Look, there's been rumours that he would change his mind on the game plan, like last minute. He would train on something, change it last minute. And so that doesn't help as well when we're like, okay, we're trying to figure out this. Okay, well, I know we're not doing that anymore. Like, it's an absolute nightmare for a player. So to have someone that can come in and just, that's why we've been able to start to see these changes and signs so quickly. And in the whole 6 months of Lopetegui, we didn't see anything because they just didn't change. He didn't get better at communicating. Where day one, boom, this is what I want from you. This is your role. Bang.
Fremba says, that's a bit harsh, Nicky, mate. I'm a West Ham fan. I'm not convinced about anything about our club. It's a circus of organisation. Everything can happen. I understand that, mate. But I think doubting Graham Potter is stupid because to
be fair,
it won't be Potter's fault.
Yeah, that's what he was saying there. Is I understand it because my doubt over Potter wasn't Potter in himself; it was him working with Sullivan because previously,
any failings will not be Potter's fault.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not going to be.
It'll come from the board.
Yeah, exactly. That's who he's going to. So obviously, when I'm talking about how optimistic and excited, obviously part of that is tempered. I'm having to, put Sullivan out of my mind because if I think of Sullivan, it's just going to bring me down. And I want to be excited. I want to allow myself to enjoy it and not have to worry about David Sullivan all the time. And I just can't wait till he's out of this club. I really can't. So we're going to see it now. Like, okay, you're blaming Stites, and Stites is your scapegoat. He's the man that's responsible for everything that's gone wrong. Prove it. Then let's see what you bring in. Let's see what we do now. Get the right people in charge, and we'll see, mate. But it's right now. Look, it's happy hammers. We've got, you know, in the league, a win, a loss, a draw. You know what I mean? So, but it's all about the performances and what we're seeing on the pitch. And
they're not the win-loss draw I would have chosen either. If you give me them 3 games and said, who are you going to win, who are you going to draw, and who are you going to lose to, I think I'd have gone the complete opposite direction, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. But that's what I'm saying. If we'd have had the same points we have now, but we saw some of the performances that we've seen under Potter, under Lopetegui, some of the signs, I would have been happy to stick with Lopetegui, right? But we didn't see that over 6 months. In the first 4 games, including the Cup, we've seen that. So the results aside, we're going to look. We know the shape of our squad. We're going to have to be patient for the rest of the season. We can't expect to get into Europe, all of that stuff. For me, it's all about next season, because we're going to have that pre-season. We're going to have the summer window, which is a lot longer, where we can really look to get players in, and then we can really see what we can do. But for now, we just need to try and get something in just to see us through. Short term, you know. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see, mate. But listen, we'll be here covering it.
Good performance.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm happy. Happy hammers. So yeah, look, in the meantime, Friday is deadline day. Transfer.
Is it Friday?
So hopefully, yeah, Friday. Yeah. Is it? It's 31st, isn't it?
No, I'm sure it's Monday, mate. I don't know. I'm sure it's Monday.
I thought January. I thought, well, that's the January transfer window. And doesn't it end in January?
I'm sure.
Why would the January transfer window close in February? That don't make sense.
It's just the way it was. Deadline day. Let me have a look.
Yeah, find out. Monday, all right. As it says,
at 11 p.m.
Oh, okay. We've got a little bit longer than I thought.
By the way.
Oh, yeah, great. Deadline day happens to be when we got game. That's an excuse there in itself. We was going to sign a player on deadline day, but we was playing, and, you know, we had to focus on the game. So
you want the Chanel? No, I think he's gone to
he's gone to Old Spice.
Yeah.
He's on the Old Spice now. That gives us a bit more time. So listen, we're going to be covering this transfer window. Hopefully there's something concrete we can get hold of. And we'll do hopefully we're reacting to us signing a player. But you know, in the meantime, we're going to obviously all build up to Chelsea as well. So we've got that to look forward to. And hopefully Potter can get revenge on them, because I would love it. Absolutely.
The way they played the other day, mate, it could be possible. You know, get our players.
Yeah,
you know, it could
not in best form.
They've got some good players. They've got some good players, Chelsea.
Get Bowen and Somerville back. Ooh. I see that Somerville that I saw in the first half against Aston Villa, they're in for some trouble, mate.
As I say, as Take That once said, they're not invincible. They're not invincible.
Far from it.
Far from it. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's Post-Match Pint. We'll be back again, leading up to the Chelsea game. I'm sure we've got some collabs coming up as well this week. Keep with the channel. I'll be doing a preview this week. Me and Dan probably will be doing it, won't we?
Yeah. We might try and see if Brian's about.
Scott knocks his teeth out. He's not going to be on for a little bit until he's got some teeth left, because he looks like someone out of a farm.
He gets his teeth back.
But thank you very much for joining us. Subscribe if you're new. One thing left to say: come on, you Lions.